suspended, I think, isn't like.
Arsenal and Real Sociedad in talks over Tierney. Arsenal and Real Sociedad are in talks over a loan move for Kieran Tierney. The Scotland international, 26 years of age, is yet to feature in the Premier League so far this season, having not been included in either of the matchday squads, maybe because there's an impending move as to why that has never been the case. As usual, people deluded, I'm back again. Make sure you're smashing the like button, you're subscribing. Thank you very much for joining me and offer your opinions now. With Kieran Tierney, 26 years of age, again, he finds himself at a crossroads in his career. We can never discount his professionalism, his ability, and, you know, he's a player that can help us, whether he starts on a regular basis or off the bench. That being said, you know, he wants to play football. Arsenal probably want to move him on because of that. And I think arguably he's fourth choice fullback now because we've now moved to this inverted system. A fit Zinchenko, a fit Timber are the number ones and twos, depending on what Arteta demands. Tomiyasu at times last season, and the very fact that he came off the bench, unfortunately, when Timber was injured, when Tierney was not in the squad against Nottingham Forest, tells you everything. And I think in that inverted role, maybe even Kyrgios there. Maybe that's why he hasn't been in the matchday squads, because there's talks over a move. I don't know him from nowhere, but I don't think he's someone that is ever going to down tools and things and do the woe is me stuff and feel sorry for himself. And definitely at least on the bench, whether it's to chase a lead, chase the game, which thankfully Arsenal haven't had to do at this point, or see out a game, Tierney could do that really and truly. So yeah, last season barely got football. Pre-season didn't really get football. Came off the bench in the Community Shield and had that mistake. I just think the system's left him. And at 26 years of age, he's one of the players that, considering he's contracted until 2026, you know, you go back a few years ago, apparently he was going to be a captain, as what Arteta said. He's someone that could bring significant value. Check out the other videos I did, because we spoke on this. Allegedly, Arsenal hope to make £100 million this summer in terms of outgoings. You know, we've got around 20 odd million for Granit Xhaka, 5 million for Austin Trusty. Matt Turner was anything from 7 to 10. We've got a percentage of the sell-on clause because Mavropanos has gone to West Ham. Who else is left? I mean, there's been a bunch of loans. We've probably got a loan fee for the Brook Norton Coffees, the Renaissance, etc., etc. And, you know, you hope Balogun can go for 50 odd million. You hope you can get a decent fee for Tierney, even though it appears that clubs, for whatever reason, are maybe reluctant to buy him outright, which I think is silly, but there's got to be a reason there's a reluctance there. And, you know, if you get rid of Pepe, Tavares, Lokonga, you're closer to that 100 mil mark. Last month, for what it's worth, Tierney said, it's not really up to me. I'm happy. I'm working every day and getting minutes. I'm just trying to do as well as I can. Now, some of you lot would have seen by the time I've done this video, a kind of edited video I did came out already, in which Mikel Arteta, you know, he's quite coy on anything to do with Tierney. He said he's in my plans. He played in the final, etc., etc. It's a bit of white lies. Currently, Real Sociedad are 13th in the La Liga table after 2 draws from the opening 2 games. I could be wrong, people, but I'm pretty sure they're in the Champions League. So again, it is all right, and I'm sure Zubamendi's over there. So maybe Arsenal and Sociedad, you know, improving relations. Maybe we can go for Zubamendi next summer. I wish Tierney the best. I don't want to see him go, but that's mainly because I think he's a good player and it's an emotional kind of attachment to the footballer. Arteta needs to be cold, cunning and calculated. And if Tierney, Xhaka, anyone else who has fallen short of where we're going as a club, or anyone that does happen to in the future, it is what it is, people, really and truly. It's a shame to see Tierney go, considering we're in the Champions League. Obviously, Timber's picked up an injury. I do feel on the basis of things with Tomiyasu, with Zinchenko, and obviously with Kyrgios, we're kind of covered on at left back, more so than we've ever been. But where Tomiyasu and Zinchenko are concerned, you're never quite sure if they're going to be fully fit. Injuries, as we've seen, can strike at any time. The Athletic have also said Monaco and Arsenal are still in negotiations over Balogun. Monaco and Arsenal remain in negotiations over Folarin Balogun. The Liga side had a verbal proposal for the 22-year-old American international rejected following a pre-season friendly between the clubs earlier this month, before a written offer was also knocked back. Monaco's sporting director allegedly has a strong relationship with Edu, his opposite number at Arsenal, and talks are ongoing between the clubs. As you know, Monaco need to buy a striker because Mbolo has suffered an ACL rupture. Obviously, Timber, where we're concerned, has been there, but just generally in football, the women's game as well, crazy ACLs all the time, which something needs to be investigated. And I feel over this kind of preseason period, I know some people are saying it's because they've been in preseason in America. I don't know I don't know if it's the state of the pitch, diet, coincidental or whatever, but just generally, folks, smash the like button, by the way. Is it just me, or is there an alarming array of footballers suffering ACL injuries, which is quite sad, people? I wish Balogun all the best. In another world, I would have loved for him to be integrated into the team. I would love for him to be contracted for a significant period of time and maybe go out again on loan. But our hands have been forced. Jesus, Nketiah, Trossard, Martinelli, and maybe even Kai Havertz. In fact, definitely Havertz, are all considered strikers or false nines ahead of him. We've been linked with Ivan Toney and Ferguson. So I believe within the next 12 months, we're going to bring in a forward. Balogun's obviously shown his hand. He's contracted until 2025, and he said he doesn't want to go out on loan. Rightly so. The young man wants some stability. And I think in another world, Arsenal wouldn't want to move him on. But in terms of players that won't be short of offers and players that will bring in a decent fee, I do think that will be Balogun. So big up the 22-year-old. So that's Tierney, that's Balogun. We've been linked once again with Ansu Fati. Barcelona are demanding 58.5 million euros for him. It seems like a player that's always linked with a move out of Barcelona, although when you see the news, it says the player is willing to stay. Maybe he's considered disposable because you've seen a couple La Masia targets kind of take his place. Obviously, Rafinha, Ferran Torres, and Ansu Fati, I believe they're all available, but it seems like Fati is the most disposable and the one that unfortunately will struggle for minutes. At 20 years of age, can play in the front four positions. If Arteta wants to take a chance on him, depending on the fee, I'm not against it. Arsenal have reportedly been monitoring Fati's situation at Barcelona for some time, and now, as per Football Transfers, the Gunners are ready to step up their interest in the La Masia prodigy. Arsenal are understood to have previously held talks with Fati's agent Mendes and are prepared to make a concrete push for his signing in the final week of the transfer window. Romano did say keep an eye on him. As mentioned before, Asu wishes to continue at Barcelona, but Mendes is scheduled to meet club officials on Friday, tomorrow, and both parties will look to convince the 20-year-old to choose an exit. In the case of a permanent transfer, the report states Barcelona will demand a fee of 58.5 million euros, which might become a hurdle considering that Arsenal have already spent considerably. I agree with that. Aston Villa and Spurs are also interested, and as much as I like Fati, is he worth at this moment in time spending 50 odd million? You're never quite convinced he's going to stay fit, despite only being 20 and wrongly looked at as cast goods. We should be getting a discount, really. It all depends. I don't really buy this, but I wouldn't be against it. Arsenal apparently are interested in signing Persar as a Timber replacement because he's obviously injured. He's likely to cost 40 million euros now. He's definitely, enhanced his reputation in Italy. He came on the scene. It didn't really work for him at Ajax, and he's rebuilt his reputation. Again, if Arteta is convinced on his quality and the club is, why not? But I don't see us spending 40 odd million quid on someone that is going to provide depth and but really cover for Timber, really. I think you're more likely to try and get a deal for the Kyle Walker-Peters, the Timothy Casanges. It looks like we've left Ivan Fresnadar alone, but he's available for 10 to 12 million euros. Well, anything from 8 to 12 million euros, allegedly following relegation. So we'll have to see. As you know, Pepe needs to leave the club. Allegedly, Arsenal are negotiating a transfer fee with a Saudi club to finally get rid of player contact made in the past few hours, which is music to my ears because that's the best case scenario. Getting a transfer fee, getting his wages off the books versus going out on loan or ripping up his deal, or just him just lingering around at Arsenal wrongly or rightly, people. In what is an unexpected turn of events, Arsenal and Pepe may have been saved by a club in Saudi Arabia. That's what RMC sports journalist Fabrice Hawkins is reporting on Wednesday, claiming that a team from the country whose name has yet to be made public have positioned themselves on the Ivory Coast International in the past few hours, with many claims stating that Arsenal may have been forced to terminate the player's contract so he could leave. This is a true blessing for the Gunners. He's back at London Coley if you follow him on Instagram. In fact, the London club are currently negotiating a transfer fee, meaning they will get some money for the flop should this go through. At this moment in time, despite interest from Besiktas, this is the hottest avenue for Arsenal to get rid of the winger who only has a year left on his deal. In fact, it's mentioned that Pepe turned down a 3-year deal from a Turkish side in the past. Now we will wait and see who in Saudi Arabia is willing to pay the money for the player and how much Arsenal will get from a transfer it gets over the line. Considering in a matter of months he can agree a move for free, considering the worst case scenario is that he lingers around the club, whether you believe in him or not. I don't think this is a thing with ability, just not in Arteta's plans. Any transfer fee, it's not going to be anywhere near the 72 odd million quid. Anything we could get is probably beneficial. We've been linked with Marcus Leonardo. He's once again been linked with Man United. I'll ignore that because he always is. Tyrese John Jules, the young Arsenal striker, is set to join Derby County on a loan until January. I pray to God he can stay fit and show his quality, people. Gabriel Jesus, speaking of strikers, people, has been pictured in training ahead of the Fulham game. I don't know if the Fulham game comes too early, but you hope he's definitely involved where Manchester United are concerned. And finally, Brook Norton Coffey has gone on what would probably be his third or fourth loan spell. He has joined Championship side Millwall on a season-long loan, people, which ironically is a fullback as well. I just think it's the wrong time where Arsenal are going and him to really get a look in, really. And I'm not too sure if he could play the inverted system that Arteta demands. But I think he's got a great mentality, the 19-year-old. I think you can only train so much with the first team and be part of the 21s. It's now time to get football. And hopefully he can build on the loan spells he had at Lincoln, Coventry and Rotherham, I believe. So, yeah, Millwall will be the fourth loan spell for him. And it's one where, I know Coventry isn't that far from London, but it's one where he's actually close to home, really and truly. He's going and playing under Gary Rowett, whose system on the face of it looks like it suits him. You know, he's living in London, Millwall's in South. I think Brook Norton Coffey's from that kind of South London region. So it's not one where you're going to be away from home and things. And I'm sure Arsenal can regularly check on you even on an even more regular basis. So I wish him, John Jules, anyone that's gone out on loan the best, so that they can either have a future at the club or set themselves up away from this. Obviously, right now, transfers are probably focused on outgoings at this football club. And I have small hope that we sign one more. I think we need a defender. I'd love another central midfielder. I wouldn't be against a more traditional number 9 or a winger to compete with Saka. Whether the last two positions I mentioned we're able to do that is another thing. So, yeah, with that being said, that's everything we've covered, people. Check out the videos because I'm sure I've been spamming you lot's timelines with hella videos. Check out the playlist. Let me know your thoughts. Comment, like, subscribe. It's free and it helps the YouTube algorithm. So yeah, man, most importantly, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed, stay safe. I'm out, folks. One love.
There's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like